It's Chainsaw Tuesday, or as one of my viewers in my Discord asked, a weird thought to say, but when you are not an American and updates on Tuesdays, what should we call that? To which I guess the answer is Chainsaw Tuesday. So, yeah. Well, this week's Chainsaw Man was over in a tizzy because there is a pretty weird plot hole that I'm not sure about. Either way, it was an interesting chapter reminding me a lot of an arc or two ago where the pace technically slowed down with very short spurts of action. We'll talk more about that later. Can't wait for all the amazing and very positive comments this week. Need a kick when you're grinding out Battlefield 6 Arc Raiders or literally any other game than Black Ops 7? Check out my partner GamerSupps and use code CTactics to get 10% off all of your orders. From waifu cup and tub combos to merch from your favorite Gooner content creators, I get a kickback for every use of my code. The chapter picks up with Michigan and/or Oregon being turned into a weapon. Now, honestly, I imagine in my head that anytime Fujimoto has to draw architecture, he just salivates because this is just really cool to see. I like the detail of the crumbling cement as the buildings cave in on each other, along with people, to create this weapon for Yoru. And it seems that our favorite diarrhea woman, Fumiko Mifune, is one of the many caught in it. I also want to think that when this is adapted into the anime, that Mappa continues to the lineage of the Japanese portraying Americans in anime as like really pretty blonde people. Either way, good to see that Fumiko is alive and well. I think it's good. I don't think it's good. No, it's not good. No way it can be good. Back in Japan, Yoru taps into a bit of that Oregon Trail energy by slashing Black Chainsaw Man right in half with a sword that is functionally stupid and equally as insane as getting dysentery over and over again. But chat, I am so here for it. This is exactly what I needed to kickstart my day. Now I need to see blacksmiths on YouTube recreate this sword. Oh my god. But this, for some reason, it reminded me so much of My Hero Academia, you know, with the whole Detroit Smash meme from a long time ago, and, well, honestly, the variations on it since. Also, for my fellow Americans out there watching, I have some questions to ask. One, how are you holding up? Stay safe out there and stay strong. We got each other's backs. Two, did seeing this sword make you feel that, our whole patriotism shtick is ridiculous? I really feel like Chainsaw Man is just capturing that ridiculousness of America somehow, especially as we go along with this chapter. But Yoru jumps back in, celebrates her victory prematurely, but when Chainsaw Man revives, she goes from smug to shocked. Nothing better than seeing Yoru constantly get proved wrong. It is one of my favorite aspects of her character. So Pochita jumps into an attack as he grinds against Oregon, pinning Yoru into a defensive position, which, phrasing. And she says something mighty interesting here.
What did you eat? It's like an end to our battle no longer exists.
I think this shows that despite Yoru's many bags of tricks, they are still relatively equal. I thought this was kind of interesting because it seems Pochita has an answer for her, really just against her in every point thus far. Going in, honestly, I was sure this was going to be more in the favor of Yoru, in fact, very in the favor of Yoru. But so far, that does not seem so, and that's really surprising. And Yoru is setting up that this may be because of whatever Pochita has eaten prior. So Yoru once again calls upon her special powers to absorb the lives of the people of Oregon to use her Oregon Slash, which just so happens to kill Fumiko as well with her. I like this joke of Fumiko just constantly dying because there are so many of her around the world and she is so disgusting. It just makes me wonder how many Fumikos were in Oregon though. Maybe she's the reason for the dysentery. But thanks to that, we get this incredible shot of Yoru absolutely molly-whopping, good word by the way, Pochita with said slash. I mean, look at this. God, look at it. Look at it. I cannot wait to see this adapted because stuff like this, and this is where Mappa shines the brightest. I mean, this whole chapter was just the Mappa written all over it. But even still, Pochita revives with this gnarly looking revival. Ugh. Cannot wait to see that adapted too. Or maybe not. Yoru responds with one of the best poses from her yet, with her cursing Chainsaw Man as she tells him that this is the end of the line and to behold his trump card. Which is really funny because, as Republicans are quickly finding out, Trump indeed is the end of the line. and please, this is not a political video, so I don't want to see those, oh, don't bring up politics, while reading Chainsaw Man, which is, might I add, very political. Still though, Awesome art of Yoru. So she calls upon the people of Virginia because, well, Virginia, I guess, is her trump card, as from the looks of it, they are a bunch of warmongers in this timeline. Honestly, for the bad rap Americans get about warmongering, I can tell you as an American, it is really not the case for a vast majority of Americans. And that shows in, well, like just the statistics too. But Virginia is currently a swing state, and that is where the propaganda is mostly funneled into. So I'm guessing that is the reason why Virginia is her trump card. So maybe this is Yoru using that to her advantage, you know? Maybe she's in tune with the polls. But the chapter ends with Yoru landing a devastating nuclear punch on Pochita that quite literally destroys and disintegrates basically everything in the surrounding area. Oh, that was absolutely insane. Oh. And I think, once again, Mappa is going to just have a field day with this. One of their biggest accomplishments with Attack on Titan, and yes, the final season was good, y'all, was how they portrayed the Colossal Titan and its, one-trick pony move of blowing up like a nuclear bomb or Moab upon transformation. But this is also, this made me realize something. There sure is a lot being destroyed right now, isn't there? Like Michigan, Oregon, Virginia is pretty much gone. I mean, that's 3 states out of 50. Is Yoru really going to go through all 50 states just to have a shot at beating Chainsaw Man? Is that what we're going to see? Really? I mean, this brings us into our first theory of the chapter. It is this idea that Yoru is quickly headed towards what is called in warfare, the Pyrrhic victory. Now, that's a very cool word to say and to try and desperately remember how to spell. But this is not something you don't want this. What this means is that it is a victory only in name. Yoru is essentially achieving this by using up all of her powers and resources to defeat one devil. But in doing so, she would effectively destroy her ability to continue functioning or just moving forward herself, and effectively loses, maybe even more than Pochita, even through obtaining a victory, hence the name. To me, this is starting to become slightly apparent with Yoru's escalating actions. Seems to me that she is so narrow-minded in her need to defeat Chainsaw Man that she is losing touch with everything around her. She's tunnel-visioned on Pochita and is sacrificing all of her most powerful weapons and trump cards to defeat him. And do we really think that Pochita is going to lose to the nuclear punch? Do we really? This gets into the second part of this theory, which is that I think Pochita is either going to tank this hit or will be saved by an intervening party. Think like Lil D, Sword Hunk, or Fami. Heck, maybe even Asa somehow shows up again. Better yet, maybe it is Kobeni, who is carrying Kishibe on her shoulders as he says, "Drive me closer. I must hit her with my sword." I mean, there are a lot of reasons to believe that Pochita is going to be okay. And even more reason to believe that the attack probably hasn't even fully hit the intended target either. It is just too obvious of an outcome. And I don't know, there's got to be something up with this, right? If anything, I think the conclusion to this grand fight may be a big upset. As right now, as I said earlier, just to expand more upon this, it seems that Pochita has the upper hand and may pull out the victory in a decisive fashion at that. After all, this is the hero of hell, and based on Yoru's own words, they have warred for eons, and since Pochita has the cooler name than Yoru, it just kind of, I think it means that she hasn't ever been able to pull out a victory here. Which, as I say this, who knows, maybe this is the one time where Yoru does win against Pochita, and, well, when that happens, that's not good. Just because, just because the lore suggests Yoru will lose, doesn't mean she won't. It goes both ways. And I think a reason to suggest she will win here is simply because she is pulling out all of the stops, using everything and seeing every opportunity as a way to get one step closer to the edge to conquer Pochita. But she is still very cocky and very, very dumb. She's a coward and is too quick to celebrate victory she clearly should not be. I mean, she's actively underestimating our lovable Pooch who goes, "Arf!" So to me, the fight seems much more in the favor of Pochita despite the crazy power-ups of Yoru. But at the same time, don't count her out. I sense she may go for the lowest of the blows in the coming chapters. Who knows? All right, so I wanted a second opinion from my community, and I wanted to add a new segment to these videos every week just to get your guys' input. So I went to my Discord, to get some interesting observations and comments based on this chapter. Now, this was interesting to me. I mentioned it earlier in the video, but we have here someone who says, why did Michigan change to Oregon? Which Animitzer brought up that it could be because she had essentially used the Michigan sword as a way to use the Oregon slash. In other words, it is made from Michigan, but takes the form of Oregon. Confusing, I know. But either way, I think this was just sloppy. Just felt like we missed an entire chapter here, or at least like the first 4 pages of a chapter. And you know, yeah, we probably did. I don't remember what happened the day before, let alone 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I even went back and reread, and well, sure enough, it ends with the creation of the Michigan sword. So who knows? I think Fujimoto probably had a bad couple of weeks. Probably cried because he killed Makima and didn't feel like drawing some stuff and wanted to get to the point, which I think is disappointing, but I will be level-headed enough, not jump to some insane conclusion and give the benefit of the doubt here, because I love Chainsaw Man, and I am engaged with the story and am a reasonable individual. But most importantly, I'm not on Twitter or Reddit, and my attention span is very intact. The same person also brought up the contract with California too, which is true, as I think there is just something that Fujimoto chose not to go into, overly gushing what in the freak was that sentence? It's true, the whole contract with California, though. So, I think this is just something Fujimoto didn't want to go overly into detail about and gush. Which, on one hand, I really like, as we don't really need a big explainer on everything, like how, Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer do it. Looking at you, Jujutsu Kaisen, Jesus. Though, in this case, maybe a slight explanation, because it made the pacing feel awkward and jerky. Shmim, fun name to say, also says what I said earlier, just backing up the idea that Pochita may be destroyed by this punch, but will come back and revive. I mean, just look at what the Oregon sword did. Didn't phase him much, did it? That bastard, the bi-weekly devil, is back, and I'm so angry. If you haven't, be sure to check out my Rize arc content and join my Discord. Make it a great day, or not. The choice is yours.